Hello everyone, welcome. So for this video, we're going to go over how to interact with an object, get our character to move to a set location, she'll play an animation, and then it'll fire off an event over there. This is something I've wanted to be able to do for a long time. Finally figured it out, and I haven't seen any other videos on it. So let's do it. So I have another project over here set up. I just have a base character animation blueprint set up. So to save y'all some time, I've already got my animations imported. I'm using the Eve character from Mixamo. I have 4 animations, so she's just got the rifle idle, run, and walk, and a button pushing animation. I've got her character imported, and then a base locomotion blend space, just 1D, very basic setup. The only thing in my player animation blueprint, instead of going straight from the state machine to the output pose, I'm going to add a default slot in between so that we can play an animation montage. With all that done, let's jump over into setting all this up. So first thing we need is an interact interface. So we'll right click blueprint interface. This will be interact_BPI. And we will need 2 functions in here. The first one is interact, and the second one is move to. The interact doesn't need any inputs, but the move to will need a few. So we're going to add a location. This will be the location that the character actually moves to, so it'll be a vector. We'll add another one that is an actor target. This will be an actor reference. The reason these are separated and we're not just moving to the actor is because we don't want to be right on top of the actor. We want to set a set point inside the actor so that we can move to it. So that this is so that we can rotate and face. So then we need a linked actor. So if you have a button that opens a door, the door would be the linked actor. So after the animation plays, this will be where you call the next interact event. And then the last one we will need is a use animation, and it will be an animation montage. So anim montage object reference. We can compile, save, and close. I didn't close, we'll close it. So in our character blueprint, I'm using the third person character. I haven't renamed it, but you can set it wherever. Whatever character you're using, we'll add that interface. So interact BPI. Compile that. Now let's set up her actually being able to interact with stuff. So I'm going to create a function over here called interact trace. And we are going to do a sphere trace for objects. So the start will be the actor location, so we'll get the actor location, plug that to the start. Let's get the forward vector, if I can spell, get actor forward vector. Now from the actor location, we want to add in front of it by a set amount. So we'll take the forward vector and multiply it. We're going to right click here, convert this pin to a float, and we're going to go 125 units ahead of the character and add that to, so that way that'll be the end. For the radius, I'm going to set this to 30, and for the object types, we actually need to set that up. So in edit, we can go into the project settings. Under the search, we can type in object. The object channel, we'll set a new one and call it interact. Block is fine, so we'll just accept and close. And then from this object type, we can make an array and get that interact object type. Now, I'm going to do a draw debug type for duration, just so we can see it in the world. And on the out hit, we want to break the hit result. Add a branch with a B and a left click. And if we hit an actor that has that object type, we want to see if it is valid. Might be superfluous, but I like to always just make sure things are valid just to prevent any errors. And if it is valid, then we will call our interact message. Just like that. Now I'm going to add one variable here of a boolean that says interacting, and I'm going to set this to true. This will make sense in the graph in a minute. We just basically when we interact with something, if she's going to be moving, we don't want to be able to fire it off again. Otherwise it'll mess with all the stuff, so we'll just set this true here so that if it's true we can't call it. So now in the event graph we need a way to call this interact trace. Typing 1 on the keyboard gets us access to a keyboard event, but I'm going to change this to E. We'll add a branch to see if we are currently interacting with anything. And if we're not, then we can call our interact trace just like that. So jumping out here just to double check. Yep, there we go. Alright, so now we need to set up our character's ability to move to what they interact with. So we'll do event move to, and we're going to promote all of these to a variable. We can call it, let's see, move to location, and then right click promote to variable. Actor target works fine for that one. Promote to variable, linked actor works fine for that one. Promote to variable, use animation works fine for that one. So this is just because I like not having wires crossing over, because this is going to go on for a little ways. So after we are doing all of this, we will need to get the player controller so that we can set ignore move input, because we don't want them, once they're moving on their own, we don't want to be able to throw it off. So we'll set ignore move input to false, or true, set it to true. Now the way we get our character to actually move is a simple move to location. So this is a lot like the AI move to location or actor, except for this one doesn't have any delays or anything attached to it, so it just basically will fire off everything after it immediately. But we're going to do a workaround. So for the get player controller, we'll plug that into the controller, and for the goal, we'll just set our move to location right here. So in order to delay this so that it doesn't fire off our animation montage or rotate the character immediately, we are going to do a get distance to. What was the other one? So we're going to get the distance to. The target can be ourself, and the other actor will be the actor target. And we want to see if it is less than or equal to a certain amount. We'll say 150 for now. Hang on, let me check something real quick. Do this in the other one. Oh, it's a distance, not a get distance. So from the move to location, we'll just say distance vector. Distance between 2 points. So for the vector 2, we'll get actor location. Okay, that way we can actually register the location that we're trying to move to and not the actor, because that'll make the math a lot easier. So from the return value, we want to see if it's less than or equal to, for now we'll say 100. We'll add a branch here after the simple move to and connect that condition. And then if it is, then we'll do our rotation and movement and all that. But if it's not, then we don't want it to just end. We want it to fire back through until it's true. So we'll add a delay and hook the completed up to the branch itself. And I'm going to set this to like 0.01. That way it's just consistently checking, and as soon as she gets there, then it fires off the next. So since we're checking the distance too, that doesn't mean she'll actually be stopped moving. It'll just register that you're within a pretty close range of it. But she might still be moving, so we'll add a small delay on the true side as well. I'm going to just do 0.2. And once that's completed, then we are going to set actor rotation, because we want to face our target. So we'll get our actor target, get the actor location, because we want to find look at rotation. So we'll set this to our target. We can get actor location one more time, because this will be our start point. It's basically where we're at, where we're looking. Right click, we can split the struct pins on this side and hook the Z value up. We don't want the X or the Y, otherwise she'll tilt on the axis. We just want her rotating around like a top. So after she is rotated to face the target, that's when we want to play the montage. So play montage. In the skeletal mesh component, that is our character's body mesh. And in the montage to play, we haven't set that up, but we'll just use this use animation right here. And then on completed, we will set that we are no longer interacting with an object. We can get our player controller and set ignore move input back to false. And then if we have a linked actor, such as a door we want to open, then we can get it and then call our interact message on it. So if you have a door with an open interact event, now it will be called. So we'll compile this real quick. Over in my animations folder, my button pushing animation, I'm going to right click, create anim montage. Push button underscore empty. I'm going to save everything real quick. So now we need the actual button podium to interact with. So I'm going to right click and create a blueprint class of an actor. Button podium underscore BP. Double click and open it up, and I'm going to add a cube to represent the pillar. So something like that. Let's see. That ought to be fine. Then I will duplicate this. This will be the button panel. I'm not going to worry about renaming it. And then I'm just going to kind of shrink this down a little bit to register a little panel on the front of it. Is that the front? If you highlight the button podium base, we can add an arrow. That's not the front. So we'll just kind of just like that. Doesn't have to be exact for this, but in y'all can go the extra mile and make it look the way you like. So I'm just gonna do like this. Now for the base cube here, we need to set its collision. So we will go into collision presets, custom, and for the object type will be the interact, so that our trace will register. Now for this collision, I'm going to set no collision, because we're going to set a target here. I'm going to move this up. So I'm going to add one more thing of a scene component. This will be our move to target, and I'm going to just kind of line it up where I want her to move to, or where I want it to register. So that's looking good. And the reason I disabled the collision on this is because if it has collision, it might mess with this. You can move her a little bit further away, but the animation doesn't quite reach. So that is going to work for now. In our class settings, let's add our interact BPI. And then on event interact, we will get player character and call our move to message. So the actor target is a self-reference. If your button has a door, let's add a variable. This will be a linked actor reference, and then we'll plug that into here. And then for now, the use animation, I'm just going to hard code that one in. You can promote this to a variable, and then if you have multiple that you want to do different, that's how you can do that. So we'll grab our move to target scene component, get the world location, and plug that into our location here. Alright, so you may have noticed that there's green all over my map, and what that is a nav mesh bounds volume. You do need one of those, so drag that out. I've centered it, and then I've set it to 5,000 on the X, 5,000 on the Y, 1,000 on the Z, just so that, just like the AI, the character will need a nav mesh. So I'm going to drag my podium out, and let's check it. So she's moving. She's moving to it. She kind of got stuck for a little bit, so she kind of got stuck in this loop. So let's see if it's less than or equal to 125. You'll just need to kind of fudge around with some values to see. And then you just kind of need to adjust this to match your character. So the way you can do that, a pretty easy way of doing it, is to just drag out a skeletal mesh, set its scale to the appropriate size, so I have mine at 1.35, and then on the animation mode, just use animation asset, push button, and then just kind of set it, let's see, right there. So I'll drag her over in front of it, right about where I want her to stand. And I'm going to drag my button podium down. So this part looks fine, but I'll drag this up. And then extend it a little bit. Let's see, where is that scene component? It's pretty close, so she'll probably actually be about here. So that should be fine. Compile that real quick and we will double check. She's not standing exactly in the middle because she's getting close, but let's see. I want her to be a little bit closer. I'm going to say 75. She's not able to get there, so we can actually move the scene component out a little bit in the blueprint itself. And now it just kind of comes down to fine tweaking the way you want it. I guess she's never able to get that close, so we'll just say back to, whoa, not that high, 100. Move it back in a little bit. Maybe 125 is the good. I guess we'll just alter this a little bit. Make it a little wider. That stuck out a little bit. Ooh, no. Stick out a little bit further. And then you can kind of fine tune everything, but that's how you can get her moving to a point, interacting with something, and then after that you will, if you got a door over there, that's when you can call your interact event on it. And that's all you need in order to get her moving where you want and pushing a button. Alright, so I will see y'all in the next one. Bye bye.